if you haven't hated the unvaxxed enough, they have a new reason for you to hate them. They came up with another reason. Even though someone being unvaccinated has nothing to do with you and your disease, if someone else gets vaccinated, it doesn't do anything for you. If you get vaccinated, according to the YouTube scientists, it will slow the spread and contraction, and will keep you from getting seriously ill, hospitalized, or death. That's what the YouTube scientists say.
I've had 4 boosters. I never felt better. I'm going for a 5th one after this. This headline, by the way, this is a good one I ran by Kyle Dunnigan. I make them shows with because he doesn't follow this. And I had no idea what this meant when I saw this. Okay. And I asked him and he guessed it. It was actually scary to me that he guessed it.
So the headline is, people who skip their COVID vaccine are at a higher risk of traffic accidents, according to a new study. I knew exactly what this was when I saw it. They're going to try to say that the people who are unvaccinated get in more car accidents than people who are vaccinated. And I suspected why they were going to say it too. And it's exactly what they say. Okay. Note that the story is being presented by CVS Health, which has no vested interest in people getting vaccines.
Presented by CVS Health. Oh my God! So it's just an ad? Okay.
No, they're advertising on this news story.
Oh, I see.
During the summer of 2021, Canadian researchers. Well, it does say presented by.
Right.
So I think it's a little bit more than just a regular. During the summer of 2021, Canadian researchers examined the encrypted government-held records of more than 11 million adults, 16% of whom hadn't received their COVID vaccine.
Wait.
What does that mean?
Encrypted government-held records.
Right? I don't know what that means. Encrypted government-held records. They found that the unvaccinated people were 72% more likely to be involved in a severe traffic crash in which at least one person was transported to the hospital than those who were vaccinated. That's similar to the increased risk of car crashes for people with sleep apnea, though only about half that of the people who abuse alcohol, researchers found. So they're worse than drunk drivers. The unvaccinated, they're horrible. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. I'm not saying that. The excess risk of car crash posed by the unvaccinated drivers exceeds the safety gains from modern automobile engineering advances and also imposes risks on other road users. See, they're not unvaccinated people. They're not only threatening you in your regular life, they're threatening you driving around. They're a threat to you everywhere.
I miss that this was done in Canada, and it's starting to make more sense to me how some horrific thing like this could even be an idea. It's because it was in Canada.
It's just like they say, hey, marijuana is legal now. They're going to be way more car crashes. And then they actually do this studies and there's less. And, but then the beer company funds a study that says there's more.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me that the gains we made from legalizing marijuana have been taken away by the unvaxxed.
Probably. Of course, skipping a COVID vaccine does not mean that someone will get into a car crash. Really? Thanks for fucking pointing that out. Instead, the authors theorize that people who resist public health recommendations might also neglect basic road safety guidelines.
That's what Kyle guessed. And how he said it, he goes, because they don't follow rules.
That's what I guessed.
He goes, they don't follow laws. I'm like, it wasn't a law to get vaccinated, dude. That was what do you mean don't follow laws? But people are conditioned to be obeyers, It's amazing.
Rich people in Porsches never break traffic laws. I've never seen someone driving a Porsche or a Ferrari or a BMW or a Mercedes. I've never seen those people speeding. Have you?
I've never even seen them misbehaving in any way, form.
Rich people don't misbehave. Why would they ignore the rules of the road? Distrust of the government, a belief in freedom, misconceptions of daily risk, faith in natural protections, antipathy toward regulation, poverty. There it is. That's what I mean. Poverty. Not richness doesn't make you want it. So again, that's what I'm saying. People in BMWs and Porsches and Mercedes and Ferraris, they never break traffic rules because they're rich. According to this, it's only poverty. Right. Doesn't say wealth. Distrust of government makes you ignore rules. A belief in freedom. So you don't have a belief in freedom?
I never met these people that said I believe in freedom and that's why I don't obey traffic lights.
Right.
I've never.
I don't know who. So these people who, so the opposite of this would be good. Then you trust government and you don't believe in freedom. Is that what you're saying? Is that a better person? Someone who trusts government and doesn't believe in freedom.
Well, that's the Canadian aspect of it.
Yeah,
like that's when like distrust of government is like a real American. That's really great.
Yeah.
But this is probably to screw you on insurance. I bet the long.
Look at this misconceptions of daily risks. You mean like the misconceptions of my risk from the COVID virus? Because, when they did those studies, Democrats in America thought that you had a 50% risk of going to the hospital if you got COVID. That is a misconception of your daily risk. When your risk of hospitalization was actually under 1%. So it turns out this is unbelievable bullshit.
A bunch of these seem like poverty too, by the way. The misconception of daily risk. That sounds like a misconception of what you're looking at, which is people that got nothing to lose. And then faith in natural protect. This all sounds like poor people stuff. All of it.
Antipathy towards regulation, poverty, misinformation, a lack of resources.
What, poverty again?
So get poverty again. So if you're poor twice, if you're poor and you have a lack of resources, you're going to ignore the rules. But not if you're rich. Not if you're rich and college educated, because all those guys on Wall Street are all fucking criminals. That's weird. And personal beliefs are potential reasons for proposed by the authors. The findings are significant enough that primary care doctors should consider counseling unvaccinated patients on traffic safety. This is real. They wrote this. That's real. That's a real thing. That's happening right now in your culture. Someone wrote that in a major magazine.
I mean, even for a Canadian nonsense story, they're pushing it a little bit.
And insurance companies might base changes to insurance policies on vaccination data.
That's what that is. That's what that is. And then they'll use the tracking of all your stuff. And like, well, you had a hamburger today too. And you did
I thought the unvaccinated were all supposed to die of fucking COVID.
No, they're still out there.
They're still out there though,
cluttering up the roads with their freedom driving.
The findings suggest that unvaccinated adults need to be careful indoors and other people in and outside with surrounding traffic. Can you believe this? Whoever authored this is a mental case who needs a team of psychiatrists working round the clock.
This is
but this is considered normal now.
I remember when years ago, and some idiot was pushing these studies on me that I did read. I had to pay for them. And it was all about how disparagement humor leads to it was crazy. It was just as big a stretch as this. Neil Brennan never came out. He interviewed the guy from Madison, Wisconsin, of course, that did the study. You immediately see the guy's like, I'm going to be generous and say it's just Asperger's and how he thinks. And so it's some nerd like that has the prearranged destination they want to get to, and they're doing like what we did in Bible school to come to this is the exact same thing. This isn't the first time that researchers have examined the link between behavior and vaccination status among young adults. Does the unvaxxed, do they have stronger hearts? I wonder. Was that a correlation? I don't know. I'm just throwing and spitballing. Among young adults, a 2021 study published in the Journal of Bioeconomics found a correlation between self-reported risky driving and having skipped their flu vaccine. Are you out of bioeconomics?
Are you out of your fucking minds?
I like that though. That's what we have instead of medicine now is bioeconomics.
It examined the survey responses of more than 100,000 Canadians.
The Journal of Bioeconomics. I'll bet you anything that's a trade publication to come up with crap like this to get stuff pushed through.
So the next time I drive past a car accident, I'm going to lean out the window and go, hey, you better get vaxxed, asshole.
Next time, well, there's going to be a lot more accidents now that healthy people are just dropping dead, apparently from climate change.
Climate change.
It affects the heart.
Certainly does. Wow. So these people, again, it's you understand that Hitler didn't have that hard of a time getting people to go along with him. Because that's what this is.
Having skipped their flu vaccine.
The flu vaccine and the COVID-19 vaccine, totally different vaccines.
And it turns out you suck at driving both ways.
Yeah. The flu vaccine, I'm going to guess, has decades of long-term studies.
Well, I've had so many boosters personally, I could probably safely drunk drive if I wanted to. I don't have a car, but I'm boosted all up to the gills. I do how many drinks I had? I have a booster for each third drink.
Hey, we're doing live stand-up comedy in Los Angeles, December 9th, 16th, 23rd, and 30th. And we're going to be in Tempe, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, Nashville. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets. See you there.